everybody, it is Blonde Blitz time. Let's go.
He's had, but I still like the Commanders.
I'm also tough.
Jamar Chase. I'm looking at that Cincinnati team against the Cleveland Browns.
Well, as soon as I saw the rain last night, I was wondering if that might be a little bit of a factor as well.
Play that week is really going to be more impacted.
With the Raiders, who got Jacoby Myers back.
The same thing with Joe Burrow. You just expect Joe Burrow to do it because he's been to a Super Bowl.
It's time to send in the Blitz with Deb Whitcas and the Blonde Blitz.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Blonde Blitz. I'm your host, Deb Whitcas. Happy conference championships, everyone. We're down to the final four. We've got a great show for you today. Today, my special guest is former NFL wide receiver, who now is the president of the NFL Alumni Dallas chapter, Byron Williams. He's here to help me with hot takes, and we'll hear all about his football career and current endeavors. He's an author. He's a motivational speaker. He's a youth coach. Just so much to talk about. Also on the show, sports comedian Frank Nicotero joins us for Playoff Funny. We'll see what he has to say about that. And speaking of playoffs, Rams are competing for the NFC title this Sunday. I had a chance to cover two events. One was the field day at SoFi Stadium with STEAM, blending science with sports, partnered with Cyanide. And also, I was at the official watch party at Hennessy's Tavern in Hermosa Beach. We'll show you both of those reels. Sports betting expert Alex White is here for your best bet for conference championships, along with fantasy experts Ballers Meg. Intuitive Reader 333 Ask Carrie looks at her power deck for the Patriots versus Broncos game. And finally, Ben Troop, former tight end for the Buccaneers and the Titans. He is here to talk about the two conference championships games. Let's go. Let's get it started with headlines.
Now to Deb Whitcas with the Blonde Blitz headlines.
It was a wild divisional weekend across the NFL with two overtime games, massive momentum swings, and defenses completely flipping games late. The Rams survived Chicago in a 2017 overtime win after Caleb Williams forced an extra time with a touchdown pass with just 18 seconds left, a throw that officially went 14 yards but traveled over 50 yards in the air before LA closed it out on a 42-yard walk-off field goal. In Denver, the Broncos advanced on a 23-yard overtime winner, but the story was Bo Nix breaking his ankle late in regulation, staying in just long enough to help set up the kick, while Denver's defense forced 5 takeaways against Josh Allen, who turned it over 4 times. Seattle delivered the knockout blow of the weekend, scoring 13 seconds into the game on a 95-yard kickoff return and rolling to a 41-6 win, with Kenneth Walker III rushing for 3 touchdowns to tie the franchise playoff record. And in Foxborough, turnovers ruled the day as the Patriots and Texans combined for 8 of them, including 4 interceptions of CJ Stroud, while Drake May threw 3 touchdowns despite the weather, sending the New England Patriots back to the AFC Championship game for the first time in 7 years. All right, guys, those are your headlines for the divisional weekend. We got the conference championships coming up. All right, guys, as I said in my intro, my special guest this week is former NFL wide receiver who's now the president of the NFL Alumni Dallas chapter. He's an author of the book Playbook for Life. He's also a motivational speaker, youth coach. He is here to help me with hot takes, and we'll hear all about his football career and his current endeavors. All right, guys, please help me welcome Byron Williams.
Next caller is Deb Whitcas, who says she has some really hot takes.
Hello, Byron.
Hello.
How are you this evening?
I'm
Good. By the way, I'm still not breathing from this weekend. How about you?
telling you, it was a great weekend to watch some football.
Yeah.
And it came down to the wire almost in every game.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, 2 of the games went into overtime. We'll go through them for sure. As far as the NFC, Rams versus Bears, 2017 in overtime. What did you think of this game? Who do you think who played better?
Oh, with the weather, the temperature, you have to make those adjustments. But I tell you, both teams played great under the conditions. But the Rams, man, they surprised everybody. And no, everybody was talking about the Bears got the advantage, but no, the Rams had a great game plan, and they came through. I tell you, it was a good game.
It was a really good game. It got a little scary there at the end, though. I mean, I think Caleb Williams had like the touchdown of the season. That throw in tight end Cole Kmet, and the final was like 27 seconds, 4th and 4. They tied that game, throwing it into overtime. But there was a couple times during the game, and I'm a beat reporter for the Rams, so I'm there at practices, and I see the guys. I get to interview everyone. It's such a blessing. And McVay, he admitted he didn't, have a great game. Like he didn't and McVay's an amazing head coach.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
He puts the players first. It's players first, then football, and he really knows his X's and O's. But at one point I was screaming at the TV and I was like, why are we throwing the ball? Like, obviously Stafford was off. We don't know why. Could have been his finger that has been injured. But I was like, Kyron Williams, Kyron's amazing. Like, run the ball. And then finally they started doing that. And then we, finally, they obviously won the game. Right. But yeah, I mean, and also Cam Curl making that crucial game-sealing interception, stopping that potential game-winning field goal from the Bears. He intercepted that pass intended for DJ Moore. What did you think when you saw that?
Oh man, it was great. I mean, I just first the timing and the way things just fell in place for the Rams, it was unbelievable. And they really was in the game throughout. But I'll tell you, just phenomenal play. That interception from Carroll was great, man. I and they say a lot of defensive backs can't catch. They don't catch the ball well, but he hung on and
he made the right catch at the right time.
I'm telling you. And it's about the will of the guys. It's hard to play in those games, and your foot, your routes and the angles that you have to take. People just don't understand. You don't have the real drive and force that you usually get, and you have to be real conscious because you can slip or the ball can come out.
Mm-hmm. But especially in those conditions too. I mean, that was snow, it was sleet, it was like a little bit of everything going on.
Truly, that's true football right there. That's what Chicago Bears wanted. They got what they wanted, but the Rams pulled through.
Yeah, and the Rams really were not that worried about the weather, which I was more worried about the weather than I think they were, but they pulled it off. All good. How do you think the Rams are going to do against the Seahawks?
Man, when you play a team for the third time, it's always a close game. I seen it when I was playing up in Canada. We played teams 3 times all the time up there, but it seemed like everybody know everybody, and the tendencies are less. But I think you're gonna come down to coaching. It's gonna come down to defense, and of course mistakes. You can't make the mistakes. But both teams have phenomenal defense players. So
yes, yep. And every play is going to be important. Every single one of them, I feel like, in this particular game. All right, let's move on to the other game that was in overtime. AFC Broncos versus Bills. Will Lutz kicked that game-winning 23 field goal to seal the Bronco win. Were you surprised that the Broncos beat the Bills?
I just knew that was going to be the Broncos' time to go to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And because Josh Allen you talking about Superman. He's that kind of guy. Yeah. But I just think, too, that Denver, you had to give it to Sean Payton. Phenomenal coach. Won the Super Bowl before. I think he's one of the most technical coach, and he's real precise on how he coaches. And what people don't realize, and what I look at last year when they drafted Bo Nix, And I said, man, they got a good guy. They got a guy that they know that they're going to build this offense around. And now you see the results of that.
Yeah, absolutely. When a lot of people were saying it was the Bills' year without Kansas City in the mix, the Bills have this, and then the Broncos were like, hold my beer.
Absolutely. But I know one of the players that's real close to one of the players that was on the Bills. I was pulling for the Bills, but it's all about the last 2 minutes in these games. Seem like the last push. But phenomenal. You can't complain about the style of play and the excitement that you get from all the teams that's playing.
Absolutely. And you said you have a friend on the team. I saw Josh Allen some of his teammates were crying, and I don't feel like you see that a lot in football.
You don't, because I think too it was the expectation and how they end up being fifth seed or something like that, but they could have easily been 1 or 2 seeds, and of course you don't want to play in Buffalo, but man, I just thought that they had got to the point of where they were going to the Super Bowl this year. I really thought so.
Yeah. Well, and now the Broncos are playing, and for this, and on Sunday, Bro Nix, like I said earlier, broke his ankle on the second to last play. He's out for the season. Stidham is in for the, and it's going to be versus the Patriots. How do you think that game will go?
Man, it's hard. It's hard. The fourth quarter is hard to breathe in Denver. I don't care what team is playing there. But I was gonna give it to Denver, but now I'm trying to have second thoughts. The Patriots, they don't make no mistakes. I mean, you have to give it to Mays. Drake Mays is, man. His brothers have prepared him for this moment. So all the things that they did growing up, they went from football to basketball to baseball. They stayed active, very competitive family. If you look at the history of his heart, I'm gonna get an edge to the Patriots.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, I'm thinking that too. So let's go on to that game, the AFC Patriots versus Texans. Patriots took it 28-16. Honestly, CJ Stroud looked terrible.
Right? The offense, I mean, they was in the game, but too many mistakes.
Yeah, several turnovers, struggles. Like, was the moment too big for him, do you think?
Yeah, CJ had a tough go at it. I think he was trying to force the ball a couple of times. Sometimes he's going at his first read instead of going through the progression of his reads, and evidently he didn't quite. I think he had pressure. He putting pressure on himself.
Yeah,
and you have to come. Somebody need to calm him down and just say, everything gonna be all right. And that was one of the good things I learned when I was playing for Bill Parcells. It ain't over till it's over, but you can't have turnovers. Turnovers will cost you the game every time.
Yep, absolutely. Let's move on to the NFC. The Seahawks versus the 49ers, 41-6.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Well, but I gotta say, I was impressed that the 49ers got to where they got to, right? All of the injuries the entire season, but the Seahawks definitely dominated. Are you impressed that the 49ers made it as far as they did?
I was impressed with the 49ers because of the injuries. They got a great coach, Shanahan, but I'm telling you, the defense showed up for Seattle. They defense showed up, and now I think they got a lot of momentum going into this week, and it's gonna be hard to beat them. But the Rams, they got some great coaches.
Yeah.
And Matthew Stafford don't play. He put that ball there. He's got an MVP season. So you look at all of that and you look at both defenses, it might come down to special teams.
Yeah, it might absolutely come down to special teams, and the Rams know that too. That's why they, Cardi was having issues all season. The kicker, they replaced him. It's the first time that they've replaced someone, in a while. And I think it had been a bit, but they brought in Mevis, and Mevis has been delivering absolutely. And they also fired Chase Blackburn. the special teams coordinator. They brought in someone else,
Right.
and he took over as well. So yeah, I mean they were making the adjustments throughout the season to make sure that their special teams was a force, and I think they made the right decisions.
Absolutely. You it's a three-part game plan. You got to have that special team, and a lot of people don't look at the special team, but sometimes, and a special team, it might be a special team play this week that gonna break open the game.
Yeah, I mean all the kicks I feel like have come in clutch.
Yeah,
right. The field goal is the one, even the 1-pointers after it's special teams are absolutely clutch. Also, too, a bit of a coach carousel going on, right?
Wow. Yeah, I think my old team got one of the best coaches. They
the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants got a great coach.
Let's talk about that.
I'm happy for the Giants because now they finally got a coach.
John Harbaugh, let's go.
Yeah. He's consistent. I mean, you know what you're gonna get with him, and you just can't. He was there for 18 years in Baltimore, but I'm telling you, this guy he was born to be a coach.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually, to be honest, wanted him for the Eagles. Don't know where he would have fit in the Eagles, but I just wanted him somewhere in the Eagles. OC, maybe. Honestly, if Nick Sirianni left, I wouldn't be upset, but I knew that wasn't going to happen this season. Yeah. What do you think of Kevin Stefanski going to the Falcons?
Well, he's a good coach, but he just ain't had a whole lot to work with up in Cleveland. I think it's something about Cleveland that don't sit well with coaches, but he's a good coach. I mean, he's unbelievable. I think he's gonna do well. I mean, Atlanta Falcons won almost 10 games. They I think they 9 games, 8 games, but they were real close to being winning the division.
So much talent. Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Michael Penix. I mean, the talent there is just unbelievable. That
team is ready. I mean, and plus that division is not really that dominant with Tampa Bay and New Orleans and and Carolina. But I'm telling you, I think that Atlanta might be the surprise team next year in that conference anyway, that division.
Right, absolutely. And how about Robert Saleh to the Titans?
Titans. They kept showing him all throughout the year on the defensive side, and he brought in some players to fill the gaps. They were lacking on linebackers. He brought those in, and just his coaching style. He really is. He's a great defensive coordinator, great coach, and I think that the Titans might surprise some team next year. I think they're gonna be a contender, and because he's bringing a lot to the table.
Yeah, and Cam Ward, I just he's such a talented quarterback. First draft pick. I just don't think he got the chance this season.
No, he don't have a chance. But I do think for sure Robert gonna make sure the defense is gonna be tightened up, and they're gonna make fewer mistakes. I just think it's so hard to coach in the Jets. When he was with the Jets, he just couldn't really get it going. They was close, and then the injury got him. But then when they fired him, I said, man, he was almost there to turn the Jets around, but they didn't give him the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get your Super Bowl prediction and why, and then we'll move on to talking about
I'm going against the Rams.
That's fine.
I've been trying to. I just see Seattle, and I told people 3 weeks ago. I think Seattle go. After looking at it, I think McDonald, really have them to where they can do some things, and that home field advantage is a good thing. That's what you play for.
Yeah, and I do like Sam Darnold a lot. I've met him. I've interviewed him. I think he's a great quarterback. When he left the Jets and then went to the Panthers and then to the 49ers and then he went to the Vikings, and I thought he was going to, I thought the Vikings were stupid to get rid of him for JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
I do have proving that. So
I do have a kid that came to my football camp when he was like 10, 12 years old. Number 27 went to Texas, San Antonio, Utah, and he's defensive back, Wooten. He's from Fort Worth, and he told me back then he was gonna be a superstar. So I'm sticking with him, number 27.
All right,
with the secondary there.
Number 27. Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
have a great game. It's all good football. All right, Ryan, speaking of football, let's talk a little bit about your career. And I ask this for every interview I do. Why football? Why do you love it?
I think it helped me. It helped me with my desires in life, my willpower, one of the things that I learned about myself was when I try and have goals tied into trying, it's a limited possibility. And I one of 10 kids. I'm the 8th of 10, and
oh, wow.
Yeah, so I come from
a big football team yourself.
I had 7 sisters and 2 brothers, so I mostly were raised up with girls, but definitely, I've been married my high school sweetheart. I've been, kind of just focused on goals and trying to do right and trying to live right, and been a leader with the retired players. But what I really love about football is the discipline. It gets you to where if you don't do the right thing, you ain't gonna never be successful. So it keeps you on the straight and narrow, and choices that you have to make. And but people are drawn to football. It's just a competitive, and this guy might have beat you one play, the next play you got to beat him. So it's always keeping you on your toes. And you know what? The fewest mistakes that you make, the better off you'll be. And so that's kind of what life is all about anyway.
Right. Talk about playing football as a young kid, like in Texarkana, Texas. You started in the 4th grade, right?
4th grade, and then in the 5th grade, I played for the little league, the Packers. And guess what? In '83, I was drafted. Barkstar called me and said, "Byron, you're a Packer." I couldn't believe it. So really,
that's so full circle.
Full circle. I'm telling you, full circle. And then I was the very last guy that they released that year. And then I went to Philly for 4 weeks. And then Bill Parcells picked me up my rookie year. But my point was, I always had good coaches that inspired me and kept me motivated. My high school coach, he said, "Byron, you make the AB honor roll, I'm going to give you $20. So every 6 weeks when I was in 9th grade to my senior year, I would run to the gym. He'd give me $20 for making the AB honor roll. Graduated with a 3.8 GPA. So I have been very fortunate to have good coaches that really instilled in me what life is all about.
Right. And did that make you want to be a coach as well?
Well, it made me want to get in front of kids and keep them motivated and keep them dedicated. I always came up with this deal: who want to be an MD? And they say, who want to be a medical doctor? No, I say, who want to be motivated? Who want to be dedicated? Those are the MDs. And you keep if you can keep focused on being motivated and dedicated, the rest the rest is history, I think.
That's amazing. I want to hear a little bit. We'll go a little bit more into that a little bit later when we talk about what you're currently doing.
Okay.
I wanted to hear about your draft story. With Green Bay, just because you played for Green Bay when you were in the 4th grade, and then for the draft.
So in 1983, Elway, Marino, I came out with those guys. Eric Dickerson, Craig Jack, all those guys. So I was drafted in the 10th round. I broke my ankle at UT Arlington. We didn't throw the ball that often. And so I caught 28 passes my senior year. I had over 500 yards. I had 8 touchdowns. But I could run the 40. I could run 4.23, 4.28. I was real fast. I was one of the fastest guys on every team I played on. And that's what really got me noticed. And so I was a pretty tall receiver, weighed 188. I'm weighing 191 today. I checked my weight today, but I'm 6'3", so I was pretty, real strong guy. Could block real good because when I first went to college, we ran the wishbone. So you as a receiver in the wishbone, first thing you know how to do is block. So, right. But that carried over to being drafted. I was the 253rd player taken out of 266, but it was 28 teams back then, 48-man rosters. Now it's 32 teams, 53-man roster. So, so if you're in the top 260, you get a chance of making a team or something. But what I did was I learned from James Lofton and John Jefferson. Those guys were Pro Bowl receivers when I first got to Green Bay. And so and then when I got to New York, I learned from watching Lawrence Taylor and some of the work habits they have on the football field. So I'm the kind of guy that was a student. I'd like to always see who the best. And on the team and what kind of work habits did they have. And so that's the kind of guy. I was kind of like a student of the game.
That's awesome. What was your favorite moment in football?
My favorite moment in football was my rookie year, right there in LA. I scored my first NFL touchdown against Lester Hayes in the LA Coliseum. But my one of my best games was against Philadelphia Eagles. I had 5 catches for 168 yards and a 65-yard touchdown. So against the Eagles. So, but I had my moments, and so life is sometimes about highlights. When I was in the World League, I was the only player in the World League that scored in every stadium in the World League. I scored in London, scored in Frankfurt, Germany, scored 2 touchdowns in Barcelona, Spain, scored 11 touchdowns in 10 games. So, and then playing up in Canada. So I wish I could have played all my years in the NFL, but sometimes, you have to go where you want it and feel comfortable. But those experiences have really helped me in how I look at things and how I can inspire these young kids.
Absolutely. And that was my next question. What are the life lessons that football has taught you?
Well, for sure, you need to set your goals and you need to hang around, have good choices. I think it stems from having a relationship, a prior life. And, I've been married 42 years.
Wow.
And, I just keep it simple for me. One of the things I do, I had like 4 or 5 NFL players call me today about stuff. I'm going out to the Super Bowl. So I like what we have established, because guys know how hard it is to really play on the level of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's very difficult.
It's very, very difficult. And then, to put up with some of the coaches and some of the teammates. And so you get a little bit of everything. And so, but, you can come home and relax and sit back and say, okay, this is what I need to do. This is
right.
So today I went to the YMCA and worked out. And so every time I go in the gym, I think about, when I worked out in New York, how Green Bay was, and some of the things will come back. But even when you look at the football games this weekend, it's a lot of players retired. They look at the game and say, man, look at that. They analyze the game, and then people will call them and ask them questions because they think we're experts. But the game is all about not making mistakes.
Absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about the youth coaching. I know super important to you. What made you get into that?
Well, I started doing football camps. I did football camps with Terrell Owens.
You coached T.O.?
Yeah. I did football camps for him, and I had a little deal called football mini camp. So I do Terrell Owens football mini camp, Dante Whitner football mini camp. And then I've been doing my football camps for 31 consecutive years in my hometown. So I always did my football camps the week after Father's Day weekend, because a lot of kids now don't have fathers. I was blessed to have my dad all my life. And so we have it at the Father's Day weekend. And guess what else I do? Whoever wins the Super Bowl, that's the colors of the shirts that we have. So this past year, we had the Eagles colors.
Okay.
The previous 2 years, we had the Kansas City colors. I can tell you now, in 1998, we had the Denver Broncos colors. So that reminded me of who won the Super Bowl. So the point of us doing it that way is because when a kid leaves there, we want them to have a championship mindset, a winning attitude, and let them know that dreams do come true, and just stay true to yourself. And so those are the messages that we have. We don't try to say, you're gonna play NFL, you're gonna do this. It's all about giving them hope and let them build up their faith and let them see that we was a little boy that wanted to dreams too, and dreams do come true. So that's our message.
What are some of the players that you've worked with who their dreams have come true and they've played professionally?
It's Michael James is one of the guys. He's from my high school.
Okay.
It's a couple of wide receivers. Raymond McDonald played for the 49ers. Right now, I did a football camp last year, and guess who I worked with?
Who did you work
Jackson with Ohio State.
Okay.
So we worked with a lot of kids because some of the guys that I know have been doing camps together. We do camps. They do support my camp. We go up to Cleveland and do a camp. We do a camp sometime at the Super Bowl. I've done like 5 or 6 camps at the Super Bowls. I talked to Charles Haley. Him and Ronnie Lott was wanting to do a camp, so I put them a plan together. I don't know if they're gonna do it this year or not, but they wanted to do it. I think on Friday, the week of the Super Bowl. So I got to call him just to see if they're gonna do it.
Let me know. I'm like, I will be there. Let me know. I'll stop by.
Yeah. And we, Dr. Jan Richard, she does a lot of,
yeah,
she does a lot. She and I have been doing a lot of camps together too. We always started when she first was playing at women's leagues here in Dallas.
Yep.
She was at linebacker. That girl was tough.
Yep.
And we have done a lot of camps together too.
I actually just talked. I was on the phone with her last night, actually, for about an hour. So
she's my age cool partner there.
Jen is
say, if you hit down, you're gonna come to my camp. I said,
she's doing a camp Friday morning at 10 a.m. Saturday morning at 10 a.m.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I usually try to. I know I went to Vegas when I was in Vegas. I went to a camp and hung out with them. Those girls have really transitioned to really some really competitive female athletes and doing super, super good. I can't wait to see them in the Olympics playing flag football.
2028, the girls are taking over. Women's flag football is huge. I cover it for Sports Illustrated as well. And some of the girls, I'm so impressed with their talent and their passion. And I just was with a bunch of high school girls in Texas for the All-American game. We had a blast. Tell me a little bit about, I want to hear about Playbook for Life.
Playbook for Life. It's about Playbook for Life.
Yes.
It's really my story from, and that's that he said a little afro right there.
I love it. Yes.
So
barely.
It tells about my story all the way through from when I was a little kid. My daddy driving and following my daddy. He was an Army guy. He was a military guy. He's a carpenter. He taught me how to paint. If he said, I want this yard cut, by the end I get home, I had the yard cut and everything. So it really talks about how you stay true to yourself. Mm-hmm. But the Playbook for Life is kind of, I try to tell people that might need a banner verse. A banner verse meaning that's what you're all about. So I'm the 8th kid. Out of the 8, I was born on Halloween. All of us were born at home. So my favorite verse in the Bible is Romans 8:31b, and it says, "For God is for me, who could be against me?" So I say that verse every day, and I know who's for me. But that's what this book is all about. It's about you finding your true self and staying true to yourself throughout your walk.
And what about the NFL alumni? You're the president of the Dallas chapter. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about your involvement with that.
Well, I really like it because a lot of retired players need to be, I kind of see myself as their coach. I can help them if they need to know what the dentist number, the 800 number, they need to call Delta Dental. They need to find out what doctors that we have. We have a list of doctors that they can go to. And then we have meetings quarterly, monthly, and we come in and if they have a question or concern, we help them navigate it. If they need some assistance with anything, we find a help for them. And it's kind of like a reference guide to kind of help guide them through the process.
Right, absolutely. Byron, thank you so much for coming on the Blonde Blitz. This was an absolute blast. I have got to see you during Super Bowl. Where can our audience find you and where can they buy the book?
Yeah, it's ByronWilliamsBook.com. It's right there, Byron Williams Book. Then I have another website called ByronWilliamsLeadership.com. And they can find me on all social media platforms. I got a Instagram, X, NFL alumni, Byron Williams, NFL, LinkedIn. So I'm out there everywhere. I just got to get more followers.
All right, well, we will make that happen for you. I will see you during Super Bowl. This was
absolutely. We definitely, because Kim said she got some plans for us, and looking forward to meeting you. And thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye. All right, guys. Next, sports comedian Frank Nicotero gives us his funny take on playoffs. Frank, what you got for us?
Okay, I got one for you. What did the wide receiver say to the football? Catch you later. Yeah, my jokes suck. That's why I watch the Blonde Blitz.
That's not my joke. What was that? Well, from one Byron to another, I'll just slowly drink out of my Comics Unleashed cup with Byron Allen. I was in LA yesterday taping an episode. It was very exciting. Courtney and I were in on Monday night, 6-hour drive Vegas to LA with MLK holiday traffic. I didn't think there'd be traffic. Watched the national championship game on my phone while driving, but being very careful. But I was only going 11 miles an hour, so I don't think I was breaking much.
That Vegas
got to LA, checked into the hotel. Yeah, got up, saw the beach, did the show, drove back about 4.5 hours. But I got a mug, and I don't know when the show will air, but I'll keep everyone posted. But anyway, what's happening?
What is going on? I have to, first of all, condolences. Your Steelers are not in.
Look,
playoffs.
you know,
neither the Eagles now either. So
yeah,
the Steagles are no longer.
Or Courtney's Commanders. You can't say the old name. But anyway, look, I've always liked the Rams. I spent my childhood in the 70s, mid to late 70s in LA. So I knew I was a Steeler fan. I love the Steelers, but we had the Rams back then. So I'm partial to the Rams. One of my best friends is a Seahawks fan, Christian Hansen, who I think you met at a party of mine or two. But I'm an AFC guy. As a Steeler fan, I've always rooted for the AFC.
Which is funny because I'm NFC for sure.
Right. And I've always rooted for the AFC rep until the Patriots. So that's not going to happen. I don't like the Patriots. I don't really love I don't hate the Broncos. When I was a kid, first Super Bowl I remember watching was like Denver versus Dallas. Tony Dorsett and the Cowboys won. Orange Crush. I was rooting for Denver because I hated Dallas because they were a rival of the Steelers, and I even knew that at 7. It's hard to root for Sean.
Sports betting, right? You started sports betting,
right? Yeah.
Right?
Started booking it about it. But, Sean Payton, is a dislikable guy. I liked him when he was at the Saints. I hate to say it. I'm going to root for whatever NFC team it is. The Rams are easy to root for. I like McVay. I like Stafford. I mean, Shieldhouse and Shula, hopefully going to be one of the Steelers head coaches coming up. Or give us both. We'll take Shula to head coach. He can be Shieldhouse, as they'll call him in Pittsburgh.
They're definitely both interviewing around.
Yeah, and they have to do the virtual ones until they're out. But they've already interviewed with Pittsburgh, but they want, we want to get them in person. If we have to wait till after the Super Bowl, I'm fine because I really want both. I'm being
greedy.
Greedy, that's the word. Sorry, I haven't slept much. But the Steelers interviewed Mike McCarthy today, and I'm like, please no. He's from Pittsburgh. Yes, he won a Super Bowl with Green Bay. He was a mess in Dallas. I don't want him. But anyway, Seattle I can also root for because what a great turnaround. I like the city of Seattle. They're a likable team. They played defense. I mean, was it 41-6 last week?
It was insane.
I mean, I watched some of it, and then I just turned it off. I go, this isn't even a game. Niners, obviously, they just couldn't keep up with them. And the Rams, look, this is going to be an epic game. And everyone's saying, the Super Bowl winner is going to come from this game. But, that's happened in the past. They might beat each other up so much and exhaust each other that even 2 weeks from now, they might still be beat up. And the AFC team, who will be the underdog, the thing that I found, I think so. The thing I found intriguing, the NFC will be favored. The thing I found intriguing is we could have a rematch, right? We could have Rams Patriots, we could have Seahawks Patriots, we could have Seahawks Broncos. The only one we haven't had is Rams Broncos, right?
Right.
So,
which originally is what I thought it was going to be. Now I'm going more towards Rams Patriots just because Bo Nix is out.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's 5.5. It's a 5.5 point. Yeah, the Patriots are road favorites, 5.5, which in a championship conference championship is unheard of. But this is such a weird situation. So, I'll be watching both of these games. I had stuff going on, and I got to see the Buffalo Denver game. I was rooting for the Bills. That was like the last team in the AFC I cared about. But look, they're going to be great conference championships. I don't want the Rams to get eliminated, but if they do, I'm going to send all my Spirit Airlines credits and get Shula and Chelsea to Pittsburgh. Or I might have some points on Southwest, but I'm getting them there because I want them in Pittsburgh. I don't want Mike McCarthy, Brian Flores just re-signed with the Vikings to be their D coordinator, even though he's already interviewed for the Steeler job. We had him there. I don't want him. I want to go with these young unknowns like the Steelers have always done. 3 head coaches in my lifetime. So let's keep it going.
Yeah. And I think Tomlin did a great job, but
it was just time. I mean, it was just time. I mean, to then get blown out by the Texans, we were hanging in there, and then, just the Texans defense was just too much. So I was surprised that, Stroud played a horrible game against the Patriots.
Yep.
But because the Steelers had beaten the Patriots. So I was like, oh, we could beat them again, even though I think the Patriots had 5 turnovers in that game. Yep. But I don't know. I can't wait to watch both games. But for one of the rare times in my life, I'm going to be an NFC guy in 2 weeks. So I can't believe it.
All right, Frank, thank you so much for coming on the show. Where can our audience find you?
All social media, Frank Nicotero, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Friendster. I don't know what else is out there. Is that still going? I don't have an OnlyFans yet, but we'll see how the rest of the year goes. But no, and Deb, as always, thank you. Love being a part of this. Such a great program. It's always well produced. Always coming with. I loved listening to Byron. What a guy he was, man.
He's great. Yeah,
fascinating stories, but continued success. And I don't know what Alex picked as her picks, but I can't wait. I'll take a look. I don't know. We were drinking with her on Friday night, so I hope she made her picks sober. Well, not sober. She doesn't drink. Anyway, I'm getting Alex in trouble. Thank you, Deb, as always. I'll see you soon.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, guys, speaking of playoffs, the Rams are going to the NFC Conference Championship, but they had to get through Chicago to do it. I was at Hennessy's Tavern, Hermosa Beach, for one of the official Rams watch parties. Check it out. Hey guys, it's Deb Whitcas with the Blonde Blitz and New Stitch Media. I am here in Hermosa Beach, California. It is divisional weekend, and it is time for the Rams to take on the Chicago Bears. Hennessy's is having an official watch party, and I'm going to talk to some fans to see what they think about the game.
I really wanted the Rams to have a home game with the 49ers. Now it's all about the Rams beating the Bears, and I think they can do it. Let's go Rams. Let's take these Bears down. It's time. Die-hard Chargers fan, but today, go Rams.
Chicago just scored, but I'm not even worried about it, I'm already going to say that next week is going to be a tough matchup against the Seahawks. I got that much faith.
It's halftime in the Rams-Bears game here, divisional round, 10-10. Adjustments that need to be made in the second half. Better pass protection for Stafford. He's getting pressured. He's getting sacked. He needs to spread it out a little bit.
It's the coldest temperature ever in Chicago, but I think the Rams are going to step up. Puka Nacua is on fire. Matthew Stafford is playing his best ball ever.
That defensive stop, 4th and goal, and the way that they took Swift and they double hit him and planted him into the turf was the best ever defensive play I've seen this divisional championship round. We have 27 seconds, and you can cut the tension with a knife. I'm so uptight right now, my blood pressure's through the roof.
And keeping with the Rams, I had the opportunity to spend some time on the field and in the locker room at SoFi Stadium with 750 4th and 5th graders from the LA area. They were there for the STEAM Field Day in connection with Cedar Cyanide. The event brought together science and sports. I had an absolute blast myself. I got to dissect a strawberry's DNA. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Take a look. Hello, everybody. Deb Whitcas with the Blonde Blitz and New Stitch Media. I'm here at SoFi Stadium where the LA Rams are continuing their STEAM education program. There are 750 4th and 5th graders here from the LA area, and they are participating in the first annual field day presented by Cedar Cyanide. The day will feature a tour of SoFi Stadium, and students will be introduced to the parts that relate to science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Students will will then take to the field to see where football and STEAM meet. The day will also feature visits to the Rams locker room for education stations and panel discussions with physicians, nurses, educators, and Rams legend and Super Bowl champion Andrew Whitworth.
Reality is there's somebody else just as talented across from them. And so it's actually really hard to be consistent as an NFL football player. And so I always said this, I said this earlier to the question of what's the hardest part of the job, and it kind of goes into the same question, is that ability to handle what does consistency look like. And what I mean by that is, like, what are my habits and my choices every day that kind of lead to making my job easy, right? So am I doing things that help me be more consistent? People would think just because I played good in one game, I'm going to play good in the next, and that's just not the truth. If you don't have the same rhythm and routine and approach every single week and every single day when you get up and get the chance to do something, that could apply to sports, it can apply to school, it can apply to anything you do in life. You want to be a leader of a room, you want to be a good big brother, big sister, consistency. What is your ability to be the same person every single day and approach things the same way? To me, sometimes people think that's a lot easier than it is. It's actually one of the hardest things to do because your emotions, your fatigue, success or failure, they dictate how you feel about your day, and you got to have something that resets you, and every single day you go attack the same way with the same energy, the same infectious enthusiasm, and the same belief in yourself. Is confidence is one of the most powerful things we can possess, is that belief that we can achieve. And those things are a lot harder to sustain than you think.
This is an incredible event. It is an opportunity for Cedars-Sinai to partner up with LA Rams to give them a sneak peek into STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, all of the things that at Cedars-Sinai that make us go. So we are a healthcare organization, the largest in Los Angeles and California. We need scientists, and we need scientists who come from our community. And today is about showing up, giving students hands-on opportunities, biology, chemistry, career panels, and then a little bit of fun on the sports action. Who doesn't love that?
You know, to come in here and hopefully be inspired, maybe create some curiosity and some things that maybe they've never thought of. Maybe it's something in science or technology and arts, math, engineering that they just never really, went across their mind. And now they're kind of intrigued by it, and they're curious, and they're going to go home and ask questions of maybe I could do that one day. And hopefully they walk out of here with a little inspiration, a little curiosity, and most importantly, just a little confidence of what a cool day. Some people love me, they care about me, and you know what, I feel safe. And I think that's something we really want them to walk out of here with.
You guys have fun? Yeah! Did you have fun?
Oh, so special. All right, guys, let's get into the games. Please welcome third-generation sports betting expert Alex White to give you your best bet for conference championship.
It's time to get some NFL betting advice from Alex White and the Blonde Blitz. Win big so I can rob you later.
Happy conference championship weekend, everyone. Cannot wait for these two matchups. Let's get a winner. It's on a side here, and then next week it's going to be all about the prop bets for the Super Bowl. Let's go to the NFC. Third time we're going to see this matchup between Seattle and the Rams, and I just cannot quit the Seahawks. And why should I? They are peaking at the right time. I am very impressed with this team. In their last 3 games, they've held their opponents to an average of 183 yards. On the other side, the Rams are going in the wrong direction. On the road this year, they're giving up an average of 342 total yards. We saw it in both games against the Seahawks. They allowed 414 and 415 total yards. I think these two teams are going in opposite directions. I think the Rams are still being priced like they are mid-season, though. The Rams have lost 3 of their last 8 games, and the Seahawks come into this one winning 8 straight. I love Seattle minus 2.5. I think they get it done. I think they represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Good luck. I'm Alex White from Sports by the Book. I'll check in again next week, and enjoy the games, everyone.
Thank you so much, Alex. All right, guys. Of course, we cannot talk sports betting without talking some fantasy. Here is fantasy expert Ballers Meg with her daily fantasy advice for the conference games.
When I'm looking for fantasy advice, I listen to Meg from TSS Fantasy.
Hi guys, Ballers Meg coming at you with the fantasy football section of the Blonde Blitz podcast ahead of our divisional games this weekend. I did not so bad last week in fantasy. I hope that if your team is still in the playoffs that they do well this weekend, and if not, then your fantasy squad is on fire. So let's give you some advice to make sure that that happens, shall we? I am saying if you are looking for a QB, pick up Drake May this weekend. The boy is insane. He has been my MVP for a while now. I absolutely think that he is a safe bet this weekend. Next up, on the other side of that game, I'm looking at Woody Marks. Now, Nico Collins is questionable. He's concussed last week, potentially not playing this week, which means that Woody Marks is going to get more targets this weekend. So I would be picking.
All right, guys. Thanks, Meg. Next, Intuitive Reader 333S Carrie is using her Power Deck cards to predict the AFC Patriots vs. Broncos game. Carrie, what do you got for us?
Let's see what the Power Deck cards say about these NFL team futures.
33S Carrie here, ready to give you Super Bowl 60 playoff game predictions and who will be the final two teams that will represent their divisions. That's right. I'm super excited to give you all these predictions, and I will be using my Power Deck. The one major transit that I feel is going to be super impactful for this whole entire Sunday game day is going to be the transit of Neptune, the planet of mystery and illusion, rolling from Pisces into the sign of Aries. And Pisces kind of gave that age of awakening feel where, you know, we got four teams that probably weren't in the playoff, you know, game list when we started the season, but boy, did they show up, you know, and hats off to Bo Nix, you know, playing on a broken ankle, you know, sending a lot of love, light, and energy for healing for him. I'm thinking that it is going from Pisces energy into Aries, which is then giving inspired warrior spirit and energy. So everyone's going to be feeling this. It's totally a collective type of an energy. With that said, we have one set of a matchup, Rams versus Seattle, that is definitely going to give a very airy type of a go with the flow type of energy. And that might mean that it's going to be a very paced out game. It's going to be play after play. I feel that the Rams and Stafford will definitely have at least one long pass. And then we have Geno Smith, who I feel is going to kind of, you know, set the pace and tone for his team. Not very flashy, but very consistent. So I will be doing card predictions again with my Power Deck here in a minute. But let me talk about New England Patriots versus Broncos. Now, it's not over for the Broncos. Everybody thinks so. I think that Steedham's going to definitely give a very good show off because he is a Leo. And Leos right now are rolling into their full moon that starts the first part of February, which is following the playoff game. But it just means that he needs to release his fiery energy and put everything into this game. But I definitely think he's going to keep a little job security for himself, let's say. And of course, we have rookie Drake May. He's done everything for his team to get them to this position to where they are. And we can't forget, you know, the Patriots defense. So that game too will be great. So let's get into the game Power Deck wise. Let's start with the Broncos. We have the Ace of Spades, the Two of Cups, which is the Two of Hearts, and also the Nine of Spades. So they lost someone, guys. They had to cut them off, their ankle, right? Bo Nix. And then you have the Two of Cups, Two of Hearts, which means that they're using their idea of leadership and partnership to really pull this through. However, they come out with the Nine of Spades, which means a little bit of a loss. So let's see what the Pats do. They have the Jack of Clubs, Jack of Pentacles, definitely a card of money making. And then they have this 3 of spades. Now, this card really is tricky for me because I feel like it means that going into the halftime, they might have lost somebody due to an injury and or a play was very defining for the Broncos, which kind of helps the Broncos out. And then they have the outcome, though, as the Ace of Hearts, which means that Ace of Cups, it means that they're a victor, they have a new beginning of passion, and that's going to get them and set the tone and pace for the Patriots to maybe go to the Super Bowl. Final scores for the teams, we have, I'm going to put Patriots at 28, Broncos at 20, and then I have the Rams versus Seattle's game. Rams 27, Seattle 31. Good luck, guys. I hope everyone's going to get into their fantasy teams and have a wonderful Super Bowl playoff Sunday. Back to you, Deb.
All right. Thank you so much, Carrie. All right, guys, we made it to the conference championships, and Ben Troop, former tight end for the Bucs and the Titans, is here to help me with game picks. Ben, let's talk some ball, shall we?
Bring in Deb and Troop so we can get our NFL picks.
Ben.
How you doing, Deb? How's everything?
I am wonderful. How are you? We are down to the final 4. Oh, my God.
Deb, is it just me or did the season just fly by? Like it was here and now it's just gone.
Yes, I feel like we were just like, welcome to season 3 of the Blonde Blitz. And now we're almost done. Like it's just.
Hey, well, that's what happens when you enjoy what you're doing. Time just flies. But hey, man, we did make it. We did indeed make it.
We did. Well, let's talk about these games, shall we? We got first up AFC Patriots versus the Broncos Sunday at 2 p.m. Who you got and why?
Man, I feel so bad for Bo Nix. I really do. I mean, you mess up your ankle. The next to the last play of the game, Jarrett Stidham hasn't thrown a football since 2023, has been in the league a long time. They're going to have some Denver magic. I know they had the Demaryius Thomas game this year. They've had some great comebacks this year, but a lot of that had to do with Bo Nix. Mm-hmm. Jarrett Stidham, I know he's going to have to be able to call those plays that Sean Payton has. He's going to have to be able to execute those plays. But I just don't see this New England team beating themselves. If that defense played like they did against Houston, it's going to be a long day for Jarrett Stidham. I think it's going to be a better game than you give it credit for because it's in Denver. Denver's defense is going to come to play. But I just think New England and what Mike Vrabel is doing in year one, he's bringing back what was lost in New England. Give me I don't see it being a blowout, but I do got New England representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. Give me 28-21. I think it'll be a closer game than people think, but I do think New England moves on.
I do think this is going to be a closer game than people think as well. I am going to agree with you. I think the Patriots are the ones to move on with this one. I had Broncos until Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Really did.
Man.
Yeah, but then I saw the way the Patriots played. I think it's going to be Patriots, but reasoning is Broncos, they lead the all-time series record 31-24 in 55 total meetings, including postseason. The Patriots last faced Denver December 24th of 2023. The Patriots won that one 26-23. I think they're going to win again. But interesting fact, the Patriots have never won a playoff game in Denver, holding a 0-4 postseason record when visiting the Broncos.
Wow. We'll see.
We will see. I think it's about to change. Stidham, I mean, he's about to see his first starting action since 2023, and he's made 4 starts across 7 seasons.
You better call Nick Foles. Hey, Nick Foles.
Yes. And did you see that Nick Foles posted something about the Patriots?
I like the fact that Nick Foles is, saying, look, I know that people are going to be, listen, man, your spirit animal is Nick Foles right now. Just call him and ask him what you need. I mean, it can happen. I just don't think it will.
I do think Stidham is a good quarterback. He just hasn't had the experience, and it's hard that he's getting literally thrown in the deep end here. Patriots defense is insane. They've only allowed an average of 9.5 points per game. They limited Justin Herbert and CJ Stroud to a combined 46.47 passer rating. But yeah, I mean, Broncos defense is top level too. Like you said, they have an elite pass rush, right?
Yeah.
I think
Nick Benito gonna have something to say about it, but
yes,
that this is impossible like circumstances. Jared still wants to play, and he's ready to play. He was just like, dude, when he was like, "What's wrong with you, Bo? Man, I just fractured my ankle. Does that mean you're not playing?" No. Wow.
Yeah. I think the Patriots, to win this game, they're going to have to execute a run game for sure. Drake May, he's been a little sloppy in the postseason.
Yeah, it hasn't looked like his MVP self, but I mean, he's moving on, and they're doing it by committee. Mike Vrabel got something going. Not to belabor the point, but CJ Stroud, man, all you had to do was not turn the ball over, man, and y'all be hitting the
did
right now.
Yep, and he did. All right, Patriots are 5.5 favorites. I think the Patriots have this one.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Rams versus Seahawks. You know, I am waiting for this game. I literally almost had a heart attack last game. 5:30 p.m. on Sunday. Who you got and why?
If anybody can beat Seattle, it is Matthew Stafford. He is having an MVP caliber season. Puka Nacua has established himself as a first-team All-Pro with what he's done since he's been drafted. I think Devontae Adams is going to have something to say in the red zone. They're going to deploy those tight ends. But it's just something different about this Seattle team. Coach McDonald is like what Sean McVay was when he first got to the Rams. Like, look, man, you already got this thing going. Yeah, I mean, Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith, and nigga, you talk about Ernest Jones, Atlanta Williams, so many names, Kenneth Walker. Because it's in Seattle, because they are a familiar foe. Now, this game I think, is going to come down to the wire. I do not think it's going to be a blowout because they know each other dead.
Overtime.
But Seattle, this ain't the Legion of Boom defense now. That ain't Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor over there. But it's close. This defense is good because Seattle is at home and they understand. I don't feel good about it, but I do think Seattle does beat Matthew Stafford and company. I hope Matthew Stafford does indeed win the regular season MVP. I think he's playing out of his mind at the age and stage of his career. I just think the Seattle team, it's just something. The way they didn't beat San Francisco, they did something different. That wasn't a beating. That was I don't know what that was. That was hard to watch. I don't think it's going to be that.
Off the TV.
Yeah. But I will say this. The Rams are not built to just go quiet into the night. They're not going to just walk away. But I think it's going to be a thriller. I hope it's a thriller. But I do got Sam Darnold, Coach McDonald, and company moving on to the Super Bowl.
I would love to see Sam Darnold be successful. To be honest, love Darnold. I always have. I've interviewed him before. I've met him. When he was with the Jets, they did nothing with him there, right? Then he went to the Panthers. I was like, okay, something's going to happen here. Nothing. 49ers back up. Then went to the Vikings, and that's where he started to shine. And I was excited. And they were stupid for letting him go for JJ McCarthy. I said that before. And now he's shining with the Seahawks. So I'm excited to see him be so successful. But I love my Rams, right?
Like I said, I don't feel good about. Listen, people, don't take my picks to the bank. I'm just telling you.
Right.
I'm just giving you. I'm just picking with my heart. I would. Matthew Stafford is doing his best Tom Brady impression because of the age, because of his age. He's not obviously 40 yet, but he's out playing these young dudes, and it's just. It's beautiful to watch because he's always, let me say this, he's always done this, but he did it in Detroit for so long that people didn't really take notice. And then he comes over, to LA. Look, I wouldn't be surprised if any team can beat Seattle, it's LA, it's the Rams because they know him. Now, look, we in the same division. And every time they played this year was a thriller. I hope it's another thriller. Right. If the Rams move on, you're going to have the two top MVP front runners staring at each other potentially in the Super Bowl. Yeah. I don't want to. You don't want to deal with Sean McVay in the Super Bowl. Sean McVay still got plays he hasn't even called yet. He got he can tell you what he wore. If you ask Sean McVay, hey man, what did you wear 5 years ago on a Wednesday? He said, I had on a white T-shirt. His memory is just crazy. But I am going with Seattle. But if the Rams do move on, Mr. Matthew Stafford, man, take a bow, sir. Your career. He's already a Hall of Fame in my estimation, but he's just gonna add to that conversation.
Well, and these teams are so close to each other in numbers. They obviously split 1-1 in the season, although I still do think the Rams should have won the second game because of that 2-point conversion that really wasn't a 2-point conversion. Charbonnet's not playing in the game, by the way, so he can't do that again. But as far as points, they both have Rams have 58, Hawks have 57. As far as yards, Rams have 830. Seahawks have 829. And then Rams had 7 touchdowns and the Seahawks had 5. Like they've met 56 times. And both teams have scored exactly 1,185 points in the all-time series. So that's how crazy this rivalry is. And that's how close I think this game is going to be. But every snap is going to count, right?
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah.
This is the, what they call it? This is the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. The number one offense in the NFL versus the number one defense in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And like I love the fact that it's a divisional rivalry. The fact that they go, look, we know these people. There's nothing that Matthew Stafford can show us that we haven't seen. There's nothing that Sam Darnold can do. Can you do it again? And for me, if I had to pick the new quarterbacks, I'm going with Matthew Stafford. I'm not picking nobody against him. Puka Nacua he get to show the world again why he is who he is. Watch out. I think the X factor is going to be Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams might put on a show. Not for a lot of yards, but touchdowns. He's a touchdown specialist.
Yep. And he didn't have that many catches in the last game, so we'll see. But
he's like, listen,
he's about to show out. Somebody's about to show out. It's coming.
Oh yeah,
it's absolutely coming. Well, personally, I think the Rams are a bit cleaner. I think they have a little bit more experience. Matthew Stafford has been in a Super Bowl. Sam Darnold has not.
Ooh.
I think the Seahawks can be they can be a little rusty.
Experience matters, people.
Yeah.
In football.
Yeah.
It matters.
All right. I'm going to go Rams. I have to. But yeah, I think the Rams take it. It's going to be a thriller. Again, I'm not even sure if my heart can take it. Seahawks are favored by 2.5, but I'm going Rams.
Okay.
All right. All right, Ben, thank you for coming here. Are you doing your show next or no?
No. Listen. We taking this week off. The commissioner is doing what the commissioner does, but we will be back for the Super Bowl. No weddings in the fall. Look, you can do whatever you want to do. I just don't want to catch you in no wedding. I mean, I don't want to
no weddings in the fall or the winter or anytime during football season.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, Ben. Today's show is sponsored by Wish LBI and Underdog Fantasy. Go to Underdog Fantasy and use promo code BLONDE and we'll double your deposit up to $100. If you like tonight's show, please subscribe and you can follow us on all socials at The Blonde Blitz. All right, guys. Football forever. See you next week. Go Rams.